Hello, this is Tim from Vintage RC Garage. This is part B of my Tamiya Lunchbox Re-Release 58347 build. It is the third video of my three-part series about the Tamiya Lunchbox. In part A, we completed the chassis up to the front steering. Today, we will complete the rest of the chassis and also finish the body shell in traditional Tamiya box art from start to finish. Let's jump right in where we left off last time. The front wishbone suspension is next. Start with the steering arms. There is a left and a right to this assembly to double check that each steering arm position is correct and with the correct wishbone part, otherwise you will end up reversing them later on. Make sure to use the grease here. Once the arms are completed, insert them into the chassis, noting the correct tilt of the wishbones and steering assembly. Once slotted correctly, secure it down with the wishbone cover. Also make sure that the steering rods are positioned so they correctly extend out and are not caught up in the wishbone assembly. Grab the front bumper and the correct screws and washers and attach the 3 screws. There isn't anything really tricky with this step, but it's always fun to get to the point where you attach bumpers. After inspecting the progress so far, go ahead and snap the steering rods onto the steering arms, and the front steering is now complete. The front shocks assemble exactly the same as the rear shocks, so apply any lessons learned while installing the rear shocks. Make sure you trim the chrome accurately and apply liberal amounts of grease. Repeat on both sides. I found it easiest to attach the bottom shock mounts by inserting the spring and then using the electric screwdriver to thread the shaft into the plastic shock mount. The last part to assemble on the chassis will be the rims and tires. Key points here are that the tire treads should all point the V to the front. Also, when inserting the tires into the rims, the left and right pairs are mirrors of each other, so it's best to double check each time for each tire to make sure that the 2 rear tires are correctly applied to the rim and still have the tread in the correct position. Repeat that with the front tires. The tires are all the same, but the front and rear rims are different. The rear rims secure into the drive shaft with a pin and a plastic part that meshes with the rim. The front tires require 4 bearings. Close out the chassis with the antenna. I finally got my speed controller in the mail, so I will attach that and hook up the electronics and make sure everything checks out. Now you're ready to take it for a test drive while you finish painting the body. The first step of finishing the kit will require prepping the body shell. First, trim all the remaining remnants of plastic manufacturing in the sunroof opening and make sure the finish is smooth using clippers, X-Acto knife, file, and multi-grit sandpaper. After smoothing the sunroof, go ahead and mix a warm water and dishwasher detergent solution and scrub the shell to remove all finger oils and hard plastic molding remnants. Make sure from here on that the only time that you touch the shell is with a glove on your hand, so no finger oils ruin your paint job. The prep work is complete, so we are ready to start painting. First up is the primer coat. I added 2 coats of primer. I plan on painting the inside of the body, so I also primed the inside of the shell. Once the primer step is completely dry, make sure you use a quick 1200 plus grit sandpaper to get rid of any burrs that might have been left over from the priming step. After sanding, you need to remove all the dust particles from the shell. The best way to do this is to use a tack cloth to wipe it down. A tack cloth is a slightly tacky mesh that works well to remove small particles from a surface. Now that the primer coat is complete, I will start the main paint color. The Lunchbox box art uses Tamiya TS16 yellow, so that is what we will use also. Make sure you never start spraying directly on the subject, and for the first coat, you're looking for a very thin, fast-moving stroke across your painting area to prevent runs. I added a total of 3 coats of the main color. Since I also did the inside of the shell, I needed 2 cans of the 100 milliliter paint cans to complete the project. The first detail painting required is the orange running lights of the front chrome bumper. First, we will tape off the area very carefully. This area is embedded into the grille and is quite challenging to tape off. We will brush Tamiya X6 orange. If you leave the parts on the parts tree, they are easier to handle while working. I did 2 coats of the orange. Take your time and tape off around all the areas you need to detail. The Lunchbox has 4 orange running lights, 2 door handles and keyholes, and black around the windows, tail lights, and license plate. Make sure you firmly press down the edges of the tape and use a high quality masking tape. I use Tamiya masking tape, which comes in various widths. Once taping is complete, you can start painting the details. Make sure that if you're going to brush the details that you thin your Tamiya paints at least 50-50 before applying. This will require many coats to completely cover. Perform as many coats as needed to get the smooth coverage you desire. After your last detail coat has dried, you can remove the tape and inspect your results. Now it's time to apply the decals. The re-release has pre-cut decals, so applying it is just an exercise in patience to get everything lined up straight and where you want them. For larger decals, sometimes it helps to rough cut them out and apply them slowly as you peel them away from the backing. One last step of a finishing coat that is not required but always makes spectacular results is to clear coat the entire shell. Make sure that you do not apply too much in one coat and perform at least 2 coats of clear coat finish. And that is a wrap for the body painting. This paint job gave me some trouble, but the end result was what I was looking for: clean lines and a smooth finish. The last set of steps is to complete the body assembly. Start by clipping the previously painted front grille and the front headlights. Snap the headlights into the grille. Clip the sunroof and insert it into the body roof. Attach the windshield and the cab. Clip the last parts from the parts tree to get the Nerf bars in the rear bumper. Attach them to the rear and sides of the body. The very last step is to attach the front grille onto the front body. And there you have it, a completed body cab for the Lunchbox. Paint, decals, and a clear coat all assembled. Now let's take a quick tour of the completed build. Spread the body to engage the side mounts and carefully slide the mounts into the body holes. Spin it around and take a look. And there you have it. We just successfully built the Tamiya Lunchbox 58347. Thank you for watching my build of the Tamiya Lunchbox. Please subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all my new projects. See you next time.